Hello all. So I was browsing through the Microsoft Dynamics communities and came up with a very interesting question, which is the source of this video. The question was around how do you add running totals in a business central report? So in this video, we'll try to explore how it is possible. Is it so complex that it cannot be done? Will require a lot of coding, or are there simple ways to do it in your RDLC reports? Hello, welcome all. This is Saurav Dhani signing in, and today we'll be talking about adding running totals in Business Central reports. So let's understand what a running total is while looking at a data set in Business Central. And just for the demo purpose, what I'll do is I'll also start my Microsoft Excel, and then we'll be able to kind of understand it from that perspective. So before we begin, let's get into Business Central, and let's look at general ledger entries, because those are good places to look kind of data where you might need or your customer might need running totals on. Let's copy some records so that I can show you what a running total means. If you don't know it, it's normally available on your bank accounts when you extract your print your details on your passbooks and all. But let's take an example. So let me delete all these fields here. So what this line shows is the total of this particular transaction. Same this, and then this, and this, and this. Now relate it to your bank statement when you get it. There's something called as running total. Okay. What the running total is, it's actually the current line plus the previous total. And in the same way, it kind of drags down. So it tells you what is the current balance at a particular point of time. So this is what we are trying to achieve in Business Central, that how we add running totals into the RDLC reports. Hope that's clear. Hope the requirement is clear. Now let's get into Business Central and try to create a report on it. So let me open my Visual Studio Code, and the repo is same. People who are watching these videos from the beginning, they'll know that there is a repo in GitHub. And if you don't know about it, and if you're watching this video for the first time from this channel, uh, there will be a pinned comment on the description of this video, which will navigate you to that source control GitHub repo for this. So I already created a folder for running totals and RDLC report, and let me create a new report. The new report will be called, let's say I'm using the word SDH as my prefix. It's not registered with Microsoft, and let's name it as running total demo. What is the source table? The source table is general ledger. Oh, sorry, that is GL entries. Okay, I would like to add it on report and analysis, and let's click next. Let's choose some fields. That sounds interesting. Description will be the field, one of the field. Uh, let's do a GL account number, GL account name, and then let's do the posting group if needed, and then a numeric field where we'll be doing the running total. So let's pick amount. Okay. So this is the smallest data set that I'm taking, and you can kind of try it on the report that you're building or where you think it'll be useful for your customers. So let's change the name of the report just to keep it in sync with the Microsoft standards. And this becomes running total demo, application area, users category, and then there is this data set where I would like to place description later after the GL account number. Let me place it here just to keep it simple. And then the request page, I have nothing on the request page. So let's clear this part so that there's nothing on the request page because it's a simple report. I don't want to make it complex. The next thing that we want to do is we would like to add the new section, which is for some reason not part of ALAZ extension at this moment, which is called rendering. The rendering section or the element in your report is available from a specific, what do you call that? Keep on forgetting about it. It's called your runtime version. So it's specific, I guess, if I'm not wrong, from 9.2 and higher. And this runtime version is based on what version of Business Central you're using. You can use the section called rendering. Okay. And inside the rendering section, you can define layouts. So let's do a layout and I'll call it as first layout. The beauty of this section is you can have multiple layouts into a report. If you don't know about it, let me know. We'll talk about it in another video. And then we'll define the layout file. And I would like to store the file into, let's utilize the old report so that we understand it. Let me copy it from here just to keep it simple. And let me paste it here. I'll have to give the folder where I would like to store the report inside that section. And I should have added a section called report. So let me do that. That inside this, I create a new folder called reports. And then I'll have to move this file and we'll call it the same name without any spaces. And then I'll go into File Explorer, close this file. And in my File Explorer, let me go there. I'll move this file inside this so that it's easier. Okay. Now we have the report here. We have the data set in place and we have the rendering section. There seems an error. It says report that uses rendering syntax must also define the default rendering layout property. Okay, so let's do that. So there's a property called default rendering layout, and that is the name of my layout, which is the first layout. Okay, that way it'll understand, the system will understand that which layout to be run if there are multiple in that case. And let's allow user to filter the records from here. So we'll add the request page filter fields. What are that? What are those? Let's do it on GL account number. So the people users can filter it on GL account number if needed. That's it. From the business central side or the AL side, let's try to build the solution. Now, remember when you are trying to build the solution, what you're doing is you are using the keyword shortcut control alt plus B, which builds a solution. What will happen when we build the solution is based on this data set, what is defined here. The system will create a RDLC file with this name and in this path, and that file will automatically have the data set attached to it. So let's do a control shift. Oh, my bad. It's control shift B. I remember it, but then I forget about it while I'm talking about it. So let's do a control shift B. The package is created, which means that there is a RDLC file available with the same name in the same path. Now this file can be opened externally and which will require the SQL report builder installed. Once you have the Microsoft Report Builder or SQL Report Builder available, the system will automatically open it here, and I should zoom this in so that you guys can see what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a table X. a table. And in that, I'm going to select some fields that I needed, which is everything from my data set. There's a whole series of video in the reporting channel which talks about how you build a report and so on and so forth. If you're missing any report that you think is important for you, just let me know. We'll talk about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag these fields here: GL account number, GL account name, and then description, and then the business posting group, and then last but not least is amount. Yellow account number are pretty smaller in size. So let me reduce the size. Let's keep the name a little bit big. Description should be pretty big. And then the GL account type, business posting group, let's keep it small. And then this is the amount. Now we saw one more field when we are doing this drill down called amount format. This field is used to format the data that's coming from Business Central in the same way. For that, you need to go ahead either to the properties of this field. In that, under the, where is that option? Formatting or number option, you can define the format that you would like to set, which comes from the Business Central or amount format. So for any numeric kind of field, you will automatically get a format generated from Business Central. Now this is it. What this will do, this will display a report with all these fields as it is, and we'll be able to see it. So let's do that. Let's test this out. Just to make it simple, let's color this and let's remove the borders from these. Okay, I don't need this. I don't need any borders. And should I color it? Maybe not. That doesn't look good. Okay, let's bold it. And let's try to keep it simple with the standard Microsoft font Microsoft uses called Sigo UI. And then the size is 8. For this row, I'll set it to 9 because that's a caption. And that's it. So let's save it and let's close it. The system will understand the changes that you have made. And in my launch.json, I'm going to change the object ID to be this number and the object type as report. Now what you are going to do is we are going to publish this and it will automatically start running this report. So let's do Control F5, which will publish it. You should never do Control F5 in a sandbox environment, and we have talked about in other videos why you should not be doing it and all. So we will see that in a while. But now the report should get published, and we should be able to run it as soon as the extension get deployed into our tenant. So let's wait for a while. It is trying to publish that up. Okay, that's in here, and the system should return me the report that I'm running. Okay, let's wait for a while. Okay, now if you see, the layout is automatically selected as first layout, and that's the only layout that this report have. I can filter it based on account numbers, and let's pick the same account number. So it's 50100. Okay, so we would like only to see the cost of material, I guess that's what it was. And you see this output being generated, a nice looking output based on your inputs. You can surely change captions of field if needed. You see the account number and all, you see the amount, but there is not a running total that's part of it. So that's a simple layout. Let's go back to business to AL code and let's open the RDLC file again. Once we open it, now think about it. As a typical NAV developer, I was like, oh, I'll have to write a lot of code in AL to make sure that I'm able to kind of mimic the running total scenario and then utilize that field into the dataset. But for some reason, I went into here and said, okay, the caption will be, and you should never do this, but caption hard coded captions. That's what I'm saying. That the field will be called running total, and we saw that the general business posting group is empty. So let's remove it. And in this, what I would like to get is the running total. So what I did is I went into expression of this field, and then in the common function inside the aggregate, I see an option called running total or running values. Now what the running value does, it says use a specified function to return uses a specified function to return a running aggregate of a specified expression. What does the expression look like? It says running value, and then the field that you want to generate the running value on. Then the method is sum, and then group by which is the data set that you want. So let's copy this as it is so that we remember this. Let's double click on this. The field that we want running total on is amount. So we'll pick the field amount. Then the next one was, let me copy this, let's paste it here, sum as the static keyword. So let's place it here. And last but not least is the dataset name against which you are doing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one and I'm going to fetch my dataset name. How you do that? It's called dataset result. But I'm a lazy guy, as you guys know by now. I'm not going to type this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and then remove rest of it and just keep the dataset result into it. So this is what your command should look like. And let me zoom this in so that everybody can see it. The running value and then the field that you want running value on. What type of running value? You are looking for sum. Are there other options? I haven't explored, but we'll see that sometime later, I guess, if needed. And then the dataset name on which you're doing that. Okay. So then you'll see an expression being generated here, which will then calculate as the report is running and should show you the running total if everything goes well. So let's see what comes up with this. So let's save this. Let's close this. And let's publish this extension again. So remember when the last time when we ran it, it just showed us the amount as we just added that field. This time we had added an expression to calculate the running total of the report. So let's see how that shape up once this gets deployed. So the extension is published. Now system is trying to run the object that is defined on your launch.json. Once it runs, which is here, you'll be able to again filter it out. And we would like to filter it out on 50100, let's say, just to keep it simple. Okay, let's do a preview. Now, see the magic here. So the system was able to say that, oh, this is the first line, so the running total remains same. For the second line, add this with this, and then the running total becomes this. So just to verify that everything is correct, what I'll do is I'll run the report again, which is called as running total demo. And I'll, instead of running this for 50100, I should be able to send it to Excel with data and layout so that I can see the layout that's being generated. And if everything goes well, the Excel is here. Let's open it. Once it gets opened, which has been opened on my another screen, so I'll just drag it. Let's wait for the Microsoft Defender to verify that everything looks good. But we see this new column added here. We just want to verify that all the numbers that are being displayed here are correct or not. So let's do enable editing, which we did, and then there is one column. Okay, So let's create a manual running total. How you do that? The first line remains same as we know. For the second line, the rule is the previous line balance plus amount plus the current line amount. And then let's drag it down. And then let's do a comparison, which is this is equals to this or not. Okay. So if you see down here, everywhere it's true. That means the running total is actually generated for the report as it is supposed to be. So if your customer requests you to create a running total on your report, what you're going to do, you're going to utilize this video to achieve that. Now, before we end this, let's summarize what we learned in this video because that's important. You will build the report as requested by the user by adding the fields that are needed in the dataset. For creating a running total, you will be using a keyword or a method in your RDLC report called running values. The running values need three parameters. The first one is the field on which you would like to calculate the running values on. The second one is static called sum. And then the third parameter of that is pointing to the dataset on which you would like to calculate the running totals on. By doing this, you'll be able to generate a report with the running total in Business Central. If you are interested in this report, you can always get into my source control at GitHub, which is, if I'm not wrong, let me open that for everyone. This is a public repo, so you'll be able to access this. The repo is called Community Questions on my GitHub called Post Sort of. And then in the community section, inside the source folder, you'll see that new folder will get created here for running totals. So that'll be all. If you learn something new, please do share the video with other in social media so that other people can learn about it. Sorry, and the video gets better visibility. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. That'll be a great help for us. And if there are some questions that popped up in your mind while watching this video, please do add comments to the video and I'll make sure to come back on this. One last information. I'll be out for this week uh, for some family functions. So if you have questions coming towards my side, you might expect you should expect a delay in the replies of those emails. But once I'm back, I'll continue doing this. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you with the next video with the next question. This is Saurav Dhyani signing off. Thank you.